Am I just too quiet?
No, you're fine. We heard you. We got sidetracked.
So
there's a man in the gibbet. Edmont, you were going to do something about the man in the gibbet.
I was going to mention, on the other hand, this is also somebody who is obviously being punished by somebody extrajudicially, and he looks at Evie when he says that.
Question. Just like I get from context clues, I get that a gibbet is a punishment thing.
It
is an iron cage that hangs from like a long pole or sometimes a tree or outside of a wall, and you put a guy in there and let him die of exposure.
Gotcha. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. Thank you. I just didn't know what it was called.
I had to put some of those up in RimWorld.
Gross. There's a great gibbet scene in the classic film Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Isn't Mad Mardigan also in a gibbet?
He is. When Willow first finds Mad Mardigan, he's in a gibbet.
Yep.
And everybody just laughs at his dumb ass in there.
Yeah.
He probably deserved it.
I think there's also a gibbet in Waterworld. They put Kevin Costner in there.
Yeah.
Gibbets are very popular, we have established. Edmont, what are you doing to this one?
I'm just going to point that out to Evie that hey,
whoever put this guy in here did so without the Duchess's authority.
Yes.
Okay, that's the observation.
That's the observation he's making.
So a little bit after dawn,
he's trying to snipe at her. Is what he's trying to do.
Oh.
No. Oh, not at all. I'm like, look, this is what's happening. I
observe, and that's why I'm a little concerned seeing this. Like, maybe he's a criminal. I don't know. I'm going to say, is he alive?
You have no idea. He's 10 feet off the ground.
I'm about to approach and find out if he's alive or not.
Okay. Yeah, if you approach the gibbet, you're kind of in the shadow of the palisade wall.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a wood palisade wall?
It is, but it looks like there's well, yeah, you can't. Yeah, it looks like a wooden palisade.
Maintaining a wood wall against a lake, that's gotta suck.
Is there a light? Was that the question?
No, is there a leg hanging down?
No, he's inside of the gibbet.
Oh, fully. Okay, I didn't know if it was. This Mad Mardigan has legs hanging out of it.
Yeah, no, it looks like the bars on this might not be spaced well enough to squeeze a leg through. Or an arm.
That's even worse, man. Edmont will pick up a stone, throw it at the underside of the cage, let out a whistle.
You hear a light groan emanate from inside, as though a man suddenly roused from slumber. And then you can perceive some movement, but more than just the man moving slightly, his movement is causing the gibbet to sway back and forth slightly.
Ekon, he's alive.
Well, we'll find out what's going on and maybe deal with it.
You up there, what's your name?
Are you going to threaten him too?
Why? He's already going to give it.
That's a good point. Carry on.
You call up after him, and for a moment or two, you only get kind of incoherence in response. And eventually you hear a weak voice. Who goes there? Please, I beg you. I beg you, release me.
What's your crime?
They say I stole chickens.
Did you?
I didn't, I swear it. I beg you, release me.
What do you think, Evie? Is that punishable for stealing chickens?
This seems a very severe punishment for stealing chickens. I want to have a talk with whoever's in charge of this village immediately about this.
Where's the mayor or the reeve or whoever's in charge?
And the man continues to insist that he's innocent and begs you to release him, and you can sense the delirium in his voice. You're not sure how coherent he's capable of being.
Well, I don't want him to die in there, so maybe I can hit him with the heel or something.
All right, here's what we're doing. First, I'm going to go ahead and cast a Zone of Truth.
Okay.
I'm going to say, so he gets a DC 17 Wisdom saving throw if he would like to resist it.
Yeah, not even close.
And then Have you committed any capital offenses against anything larger than a chicken?
I'm guilty of no crime. I haven't done anything. And
These are
All right,
the peasants,
I
Ekon.
healing word.
So question, does Zone of Truth work if they're delusional? If they don't actually know
It
it's true?
stops them from lying, but
it stops
They
them
can
from
be-
knowingly telling a lie. Their options are speak the truth or stay silent. The man is continuing to proclaim his innocence inside of the Zone of Truth.
Mhm.
So either he didn't do the thing that he was accused of, or he doesn't believe he did the thing he was accused of.
But it's good enough for me. See, I tag him with a healing word.
Okay.
we'll get to the bottom of this.
And you hear him groan in some level measure of relief, whether it's the thirst or the hunger or just the aches and pains in his bones that were ailing him. As the healing seeps in, and the groan gives way to a very light snore.
Edmont
He'll be okay.
Edmont will. You said it's hanging off of the palisade.
No, this is posted on the gibbet's hanging from a heavy post.
All right, Edmont's gonna fucking monk bullshit run up the post
Yeah, okay.
and drop and push a block of hardtack and his water skin through the bars.
Well, when you get up there, the man has received healing word and has drifted off into sleep. And you can see that this might be the first restful sleep he's had in a good amount of time. He's wearing rags, and his face is just a mass of bruises and scraggling hair. And you can see dried blood along his lower lips. And you can see where one of his hands is laying down in his lap, where two of his fingernails have been pulled away.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I don't like
I'm gonna.
this place.
Like I said, I'm gonna shove my water skin through the bars and a block of hardtack, and I'm
Okay.
gonna drop back down.
So when he
Hey.
rouses again next time, he'll have
He'll have food and water.
Yeah. I
So-
think this whoever's in charge here needs to have a talking to.
Agreed.
I was going to make a joke about like is the fog and everything about like I was going to make an Shadows over Innsmouth joke, but I don't think that's
Well-
what we're going to be dealing with.
Well,
it's the squishers.
the night is young.
Do these people have the Rodolph look?
Well, let's find out. Will the gate open?
No, gate's closed.
All right. I call out. I demand to be granted entrance.
What do you say? Just
I
that?
say the Duchess of New Warren demands entry.
After a few moments, you see a man wearing a pointed metal helm peek up over the top of the palisade, which tells you there must be a walkway on the other side hidden from view. Kind of lazily look over. Boy, who's that then?
I am your Duchess.
Duchess of what? We've no use for Duchess here.
I disagree. Open the gate.
State your business.
I have come to inspect my lands.
And he laughs to himself. All right, let us know what you find. And he sneers, and his head disappears back behind the palisade.
Is is it currently nighttime? Is that why you think?
No, it's like an hour or so after dawn. You guys broke camp after the night. You came down from the highlands following the road along the south bank of this little stream.
Ekon sighs in frustration and calls out, "Open this gate or Air's light is going to burn it down."
Hang on.
God.
It's not just me.
We all just like tackle Ekon because when Ekon's like
We are not, you are trying to declare war on these people. Let's start a little lower than that.
Edmont is going to walk up to the gate, and then he's going to.
Well,
Take a couple
as
steps
Edmund's
back.
walking up to the gate, you hear the voice call back. Burn it down. All right. Do your worst.
Wall of fire focused at the gate,
No.
5 feet away so that it only hits the gate and not anyone behind it.
Ekon, what are you doing?
So the intent is to set up a wall of fire.
Establishing special authority.
he's establishing
pissed off.
dominance. He's establishing dominance.
Victor
Okay.
glares at Judy.
So the goal here is to set this wall of fire up in such a way that it burns
The gate, but nothing behind it.
Okay.
Yep.
Even Genie is like taken aback by this.
Yeah, that's
Did you maybe miss what happened at the last village where Victor came in a little too hard?
A gibbet for harming no creature larger than a chicken.
Calm
he's
down.
not wrong.
Is it?
Evie's just like, oh, stone seeing darkness.
See, Ekon gets it.
Sorry, I'm looking up the wall of fire spell to see the duration on that.
I can drop it once it's burnt through.
Duration's up to 1 minute.
Yep.
Wall of Fire is extraordinarily impressive. This is the first time that Ekon has cast this spell.
Yes.
Then probably no one in your family has ever seen this used before. You guys have seen Ekon use prayers and miracle words to set undead running or ignite radiant fire at the feet of your enemies. But this, he creates just a wall of burning force pointed inward at this gate. And it crackles, and you see for a few moments flames licking up the sides of the palisade on either side of the gate and the wall. Let's get an Arcana check from everybody but Ekon, because he's concentrating. It's a concentration spell, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
20.
Okay.
That's if I use my without a psionic die, it's a 17. With it, it's a 20 something.
So Victor and Genie, don't have to use it here. 17.
No.
You would expect, because this wall of fire specifically ignites anything in its area. That's the whole point. You would expect a palisade like this to have some sort of proofing against certain attacks of fire. You wouldn't be able to burn a thing, for example, just by shooting a flaming arrow at it. Wouldn't be enough. This is a wall of fire, and after the 10 or 20 seconds, you can tell that the gate is not catching. So you realize before Ekon does that the thing is it's a lot of smoke.
Ekon?
And after the minute, the fire burns away, and the whole gate and the palisade is blackened and charred on either side. To his credit, the man in the pointed helm does not poke his head back up again. Rather, you just hear his voice from the other side. It's fireproof, you stupid arse! What's that
Edmont follows the sound of that voice, and Monk runs up and over the wall, lands right next to him.
Yeah, Victor teleports up too.
Well, Victor you can't see a space to stand up there. But Edmont can run up and over the wall. Is that what you're doing?
Yes.
Okay.
So, can I throw my psionic dagger at the top of the wall and then grab hold and jump over?
I don't think so, no.
I think you have to be able to stand.
Yeah, they're very careful with warding stuff like that.
Yeah, you need a place to stand to use that use your psychic teleport thing. The reason Edmont can do it is because he can specifically run up walls as a monk.
It is very frustrating when you're like, if only I could do this thing, it would be hilarious. But no, they are very careful to ward that.
Let's roll initiative.
We've been here 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It wasn't me.
No, it wasn't you this time.
Their
Yeah,
deck's
it was
not great.
Ekon. It was Ekon this time.
It was. Well, I guess technically you're the one starting the fight, but you aren't the one who started the hostilities.
There's not purple on my order anymore.
At this
Yeah,
point,
I'm like way down here. Let's just consider my first action being going up and over.
There's Orson.
He's on an 18.
He's probably first then.
Okay, so we're gonna come in on the initiative order on Edmont's turn then, because there's no point going through a bunch of turns before that. Nothing's happened yet. So
Okay.
Edmont, you're gonna dash up and over the wall. The intent is to run up the side of the wall to where you saw the man in the helm, and then hop.
Correct.
On the
I got 40. Yeah, I got 45 feet of movement.
Yeah, that's plenty. So running up and over, I mean, you can see the village spread out and where the stream meets the lake, and a blanket of morning fog is kind of covering a lot of the details. You don't have a lot of time to drink in the visual details because you preoccupied with, I need a place to put my feet, I need to assess the area around me, see what I'm dealing with. The wall walk is only maybe 3 feet or so, if that, wide. Not a lot of space to stand on the other side as you get up and over. And you immediately find yourself pinned in between 3 men. One on your right, which you presume is the one who was laughing a moment ago because he very suddenly isn't laughing anymore. 2 on your left. All leveling spears at you.
Throw a punch at one.
Which one?
The one on my left.
There's 2 on your left.
I'll throw the one, both of, I'm going to throw a punch to the left at A. Let's go with that one.
Okay.
I'm going to throw a punch at him. That is a 14 to hit.
A 14 will hit.
Non-lethal.
Okay.
See, I might up to a d6 damage. 5 points bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
Make a Constitution saving throw, DC 14.
Sure. Fail.
Done until the end of my next turn.
Okay. So
Next guy.
Turn to the one on the left and you stun him. The guy standing behind him is going to have difficulty attacking you because there's a man in between you and him.
Yeah, then I'm gonna take a swing at the other one that's adjacent to me on the other side.
The
then.
one who was laughing at your brother a minute ago?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, exactly. That's a 21 to hit.
That'll hit.
7 points bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
Make that Constitution saving throw, please.
I would love to, but alas.
That's another stun into my next turn. And to the third one, I look and I say, the Duchess Evelyn Veritas demands entry to this village.
Hey, are you moving or staying put?
Staying put.
All right. It's going to bring us to... I mean, Victor, you can hear the action, but you can't see anything because Edmont runs up the wall, disappears onto the walk on the other side of it, and then you just hear the punching happen.
Can I climb the wall?
It's like Neo rolling into the
yeah, you can climb
lobby
up
of
the
the.
How tall is the wall?
Probably a good 12 feet or so, so it's going to take you about 25 feet of movement to climb all the way up. There's
All right,
deliberately
so-
no handholds. I mean, these walls are purposely built to be difficult to climb.
Yeah, that's fine. So we'll climb to the top of the wall, and then how far down is the walkway?
Only about 3 feet or so.
All right, see if it's
So
possible.
these guys are probably sitting on the other side, having a lazy morning until they started hearing noise.
So can I jump down behind the one that hasn't attacked yet? Or the one that's not stunned?
Yeah, if you want.
Okay, yeah, we'll jump down behind that guy.
Edmund I trust, but for Victor I say, Victor, don't kill anyone.
No, I'm not gonna kill. So if I wanted to grapple this guy, it's just a strength
Strength
athletics,
athletics is your roll,
Okay.
yes. Against his strength athletics.
And if I wanted to try and do just a punch to the back of the head to knock him out, that would be just straight attack.
Yeah, that would just be an attack roll, and it will do 1 damage plus your strength modifier, because you don't have martial arts.
I guess we're gonna grapple him then.
Okay. You gotta beat like a 1. These guys are rolling like crap.
Hey, I rolled a 2.
What does that turn
Just-
into?
That turns into a 5.
5? Alright, well, you still have him beat. So, yeah, you get your arms around this guy's midsection, pin his arms to his chest. So he's holding this spear, but he can't work it very well, pinned the way he is. And you can tell that he's wearing a loosely fitting chain shirt under his tabard. And he has the same pointed metal helm. All 3 of the men are dressed in the same sort of armaments.
Victor will whisper in his ear to drop the spear and open the gate.
Like, he can't. You're holding onto him. You got him grappled.
Well, that's fine. That's still what he says.
Okay. What's Orson doing?
Orson is just kind of standing there at the ready. I guess he'll stand in front of, like, interpose himself between Ekon and the gate.
Okay. On the smoldering earth.
Yeah, it's kind of like calm down, like don't do anything rash and dodge.
Are Evie and Genie doing anything?
Ekon will tell. No, Evie will tell Ekon.
Is
Relax.
Ekon in the order here? Oh, he's all the way at the bottom.
I'm at 1.
I didn't see him down there. Yeah, so I'm sorry. You were supposed to go after Victor. I was not zoomed out enough.
It's fine. I was going to send my familiar up over where this scuffle is happening, and then as my action, project my senses through my familiar's eyes to watch what's happening.
Okay.
Are they going to open the gate, or do I need to climb up there?
So on Evie's turn, you're going to find out if they're going to open the gate.
Yeah, it's like.
How?
Are you
How do you
guys opening
determine
the?
this?
I call out. Are you opening the gate or not?
I have to run fetch my lord. Is the response of the one man who can still speak, who's currently being bear hugged by Victor.
Victor, let him fetch his lord, and you guys open the gate while he's doing that.
Now, whenever Victor's next turn comes around, he'll let the guy go so he can open or tell his lord.
Is Genie doing anything to prevent Victor from letting the guy go?
No.
Okay. So yeah, if you let the guy go, he drops his spear, clatters to the top of the walk, and he hoists his legs down, climbs down from the walk, drops down to the ground. He starts running through the fog towards the lake, crying out, "My lord! My lord!" And
My familiar's going to follow him.
Okay.
Victor will.
Edmont's gonna drop down to in front of the gate.
Hold on,
and he's
hold
gonna
that
take
thought.
the guy's. Okay.
What is your familiar's passive perception, Ekon?
Hawk. I don't need a picture of a hawk. Thank you, Google. There we go. All right. Passive perception is 14, and if the perception check requires sight, that goes up to a 19.
19. Okay. And what's Ekon's passive arcana?
Passive Arcana for Ekon, it would be a strain, so 15.
Okay. There are no tall buildings in the city. All one and maybe the odd 2-level structure. First impression, it's a sleepy fishing hamlet that somebody has erected way too much of a wooden palisade around. However, through your hawk's eyes, you can see on almost every building, up on the roof of each building, on the corner of the structure, or at the apex of a weather vane, or here or there, you see these strange, almost ornamental looking brass colored fittings. Small spheres, maybe the size of a lime. And you realize that it would be dangerous to your familiar to get too close to any of them.
Genie, they have some sort of magical defenses on the houses.
Okay.
Edmund, how long are these guys stunned? Only for a few seconds, right?
Only for a round, yes.
And before they came to, though, you wanted to drop down the other side of the wall?
Yeah, I wanted to take the guy who dropped his. I wanted to take a spear and plant it in the ground in front of the gate and just lean against it, waiting for someone to come to open up the gate.
Victor was going to drop down and actually try to open the gate himself.
So the inside of the gate, looking at it, there are two heavy oaken bars. One about 1.5 feet off the ground, another about 5 feet or so off the ground. You think 2 strong men working in tandem could remove these bars to the side. Excuse me, I'm burpy because I ate a whole box of cardboard bacon. 2 men, strong men working in tandem could remove these 2 bars in just a couple of minutes.
So Edmund and I try.
And yeah, after a few
Edmond
seconds,
got
the
the
two
noodle
men
arms.
come to.
Yeah.
They continue to kind of harass you from the top of the wall with their spears, but they know better than to engage you martially. They insist
Yeah.
that you wait here until my lord shows up, etc., etc.
Yeah, Edmont is leaning against the guy's spear, just waiting.
Okay.
But the gates are
Genie,
open.
are our walls fireproof?
No.
Genie,
Do-
make me an... Are you trained in investigation?
Yes.
Make me an Arcana check at advantage.
Okay, cool. That is a 28.
It wouldn't be trivial to weave magic into the wood, especially if you were to build walls out of wood steel, which already has some mystical properties to it. It wouldn't be a trivial task. It would be something that you would have to spend, you imagine, the better part of a season to come up with a good solution for fireproofing a wooden wall like this. So there's an impressive amount of skill behind it, but it's not beyond your level of skill.
No, our walls are not, but I mean, with the amount of wood still we have access to and time, maybe I could get some outside alchemical help. Jeannie's like has opened her journal and is now like
Yeah.
like drawing. She's like you see like at the beginning of a sketch where she's like drawing like wood still banding on like the existing wall and whatsoever.
Sorry, Evie. It would work on our walls. That's why I thought it would work here.
So, and you see Jeannie, you stoop down next to the palisade wall and you have to scrape the soot and blackened char away. But you see just in the place where you expect it, where magical inlays have been placed at the base of the palisade.
Right.
So it's skilled magic, but it's not beyond your capabilities. It's just not something you've personally done yet.
I will point out to everybody present that this is a lot of magical a lot of magical heft for a very small village.
Mm.
Well, a larger village would require a larger wall.
I don't think I want this. It seems like we're about to step into a hostile situation. I do not want to bring Tenny into this situation.
Well, Tenny's already there. She's with you guys.
I think she's safest with us than somewhere
So
else.
I've got Ekon. Here, where's the actual markers at?
Yeah.
So I've got Victor and Edmont inside the wall, and the other four of you outside. Ekon, do you get adventurous with your familiar inside the walls?
No, I'm just following the guy.
Well, that's what I mean. If you follow him deep into the village, you're going to have to, unless you're staying very high up off the ground, you're going to have to come down in the range of one of these brass fittings that you've noticed.
Can Lux see with, ridiculous bird vision from high up? Like, I don't need to be able to hear. Like, if I can't hear what they're saying, that's fine. If I can just see what they're doing.
Swoop up high enough, you can follow the shape of the man far below as you're swooping circles.
Yeah.
A structure on the lake itself, the furthest structure away from the wall, kind of centrally located at the base of where the stream meets the lake, is the tallest structure in the village. It's a squat stone tower, probably no more than 3 stories. And it looks relatively new. It has like a brand new thatched roof. You can see, just glancing around it, other small outlying structures next to the tower, which you presume might be workshops. Just thinking in terms of like the kinds of stuff you guys have back at Silverbow. And yeah, the man runs up to the base of the tower, and you can see he constantly glancing back over his shoulder. And after 3 attempts banging on the front door, he's admitted into the tower.
I'll relay that to my companions.
Edmont, you sure you want to wait? We can just open it now.
I'm not gonna. I think we've already shown enough force. We'll make them do it for us.
Okay.
You make the guys do it for you, you say?
Yeah.
Well, they refuse.
If-
They don't take orders from you.
Yeah. No. I mean, if that's the case, that's fine. Then
Okay.
they can take it up with the Duchess when she's in here.
It's a very tense 15 minutes or so. Whoever's on the other side of this tower is not in any rush and is not at all shy about making you all wait. As your familiar is still circling high in the in the sky, after 10 minutes or so, you see the front door of the tower open again, and the man, unsure if it's the same man as before, but you could presume it might be. He does not have a spear. Begins walking back to the wall.
Is he alone?
He's alone.
Yeah, just relay that to my party and have my familiar follow the man.
And as he's coming back, the town around him is starting to come to life. You see people are starting to go about their daily routines. Men are making their way over towards the lake where they have fishing boats tied up, where they have nets cast at the base of the stream. And before long, the man whose spear Edmont stole returns to find Edmont and Victor leaning up against his front door. It very sheepishly. He doesn't want to make eye contact with either of you. It's a very awkward situation for him, you can tell. My lord says he'll grant you audience after breakfast.
Then
Open the door.
open the gate and allow the Duchess in.
I can't do that. I'm not given leave to open the gate.
Are you seriously going to make the Duchess climb over this wall?
Is there any gaps in the door?
No,
In the gate, I mean?
It'd be a shitty
In the
gate
gate.
if there was.
Like, so there's no gaps whatsoever. Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, they've got a wall walk up top, so they can keep a view of things from up top. They don't need to...
And I'm going to blow down a rope for the Duchess to enter.
Why don't you just open the... Is there a reason you're not just opening the gate? I'm just...
He's been told not to.
No, I'm talking about the two of them.
I have the noodle arms.
We can still try.
I mean, there's two of you.
We both have noodle arms.
I mean, I
Noodle
can
arms
stretch nine.
is a genetic defect.
Edmont
over
is
there.
trying to be the top dog here, and he's not gonna
gotcha.
show weakness in front of these
Okay,
nerds.
all right.
Oh,
He's not gonna show weakness in front of these scrubs.
My lord
fine.
asks that you wait on the other side of the gate. He
I will
says,
wait right where I have chosen.
Very well,
Okay.
he says. You can tell the situation is extremely awkward for him because he can't make you do anything you don't want to do. And he definitely doesn't
Exactly.
want to get into another fight with you.
Victor will call out,
So basically, he knows exactly how Evie feels all the time.
Victor will
Evie.
call out.
"You're going to need to climb."
I mean, I would be able to make it up there.
Yeah, you can climb up the wall.
All right, before I do, I'm gonna give
Yes.
Tenny
It's up to
25
you.
temporary hit. I'm gonna give Tenny 25 temporary hit points to say, if things get out of hand, just find a safe place to hide.
What, like a gibbet? She says incredulously.
Orson, just stay with Tinny.
Looking around, there's not really any hiding spots in evidence. There's really nowhere for her to go.
I'll climb up to the top and I'll just hang out there like, hey, what's up?
And I mean, for a moment, the men, they lower their spears at you, but they don't actually advance on you. And they reiterate your need to wait on the other side of the wall. They repeat the message that their lord will grant you audience after breakfast.
Now, I'm afraid I've not had the pleasure of meeting your lord. What is his name?
They tell you that the lord will tell you all that himself. You should wait on the other side of the wall.
Maybe he just stays there,
Okay.
looking very amused.
So I got two people down on the ground in front of the wall, one person on the wall, and the other three plus Tenny on the opposite side of the wall. And how long do you wait?
As long as it takes.
He's
Have
not
we
in a
already-
hurry.
What was Ekon's question?
Have we already eaten?
I'm assuming when you broke camp, you had
Yeah, okay.
broke your fast men.
So I have a suspicion that we are being impolitely ignored.
So,
We know what the man is, right?
I mean, I do not think he is going to come.
Jeannie has a question for the DM. Is there she's going to be like she's examining the wall. Is the like do I think do these rooms just like make the wall fireproof, or is it like just a general magic?
You need an identify spell to get more information than you've gotten.
Guess what I have?
You know the wall is fireproof because you've tried to set it on fire and it didn't work.
I will cast identify on the gate since we're going to be here more than 10 minutes anyway.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and expend your identify.
I mean, it's a ritual.
Okay.
But yeah.
What are the components for identify?
There's no like costing components. So, but I
no,
guess
but
I'd have to
VSM or what? What are they?
Yeah, VSM.
Okay.
Oh,
as Genie sets to start the ritual, one of the men, ensuring that he's a good spear's length away from Evie at least, peers over. Oi! What's she doing? Make her stop!
You make her stop.
Jeannie, what are you doing?
identifying. I'm.
It's been a little, but I'm pretty sure that's identify.
No, she's fine. And I just wave him off.
And the whole 10 minutes you're setting up this ritual cast, and man is insisting fruitlessly to Evie
She's not
and
going to
Ekon
blow anything up.
to make her stop.
I do not.
Not gonna
Evie.
blow anything up this time.
Or Genie.
Yep.
At the end of 10 minutes, because he's definitely making you wait longer than 10 minutes. This spell took a long time to weave into the logs, because each one of these palisade posts, I don't know if there's a term for a singular post in a palisade wall, has been treated magically to the point where it is very resistant to most forms of direct damage. You're pretty sure you couldn't burn through it with acid. Also, you probably couldn't seep through it. For example, if you were to turn yourself into mist or smoke and try to find the cracks in the wood. The idea here is that it's a wooden palisade that is as strong and as reliable as though it was built with solid stone.
Okay.
Very impressive work.
So, just what is my impression on the damage, on its damage resistance to sonic, to thunder damage? Yeah, to shatter. Just for academic knowledge.
I don't think the shatter spell can't break stone walls.
Yeah, it can.
It can destroy objects.
Well, it causes damage to objects. So.
And brittle, hard objects, I think, take extra damage.
What if
Stone
you
walls
just
are
shatter the
brittle?
hinges?
Let me read the exact things. But
I
let me
guess you're right.
A creature takes a creature made a non-magical object that isn't being. Oh, it's a magical object. So, I guess that settles that. It is because it says
What's
a
that?
non-magical object.
What about the hinges on the door?
That's a little.
I'm
that's
just
a
thinking in
little too-
terms of how many hit points this wall would have. 3d8
Right.
thunder damage is not enough to blow it open.
Right,
I'm
not
not
in a single
really-
cast. No,
We
I'm
don't-
just.
Are you?
We don't need
what- Are you going to sit here and cast the shatter spell repeatedly until you do enough damage to make an opening in the wall?
No. Genie is just trying
Okay,
to get
then we
academic
can-
knowledge. Like I said, Genie is trying to get academic knowledge on the wall. That's why it's like you said most damage types, and Genie's basically two damage types are fire and thunder. So she wanted to know
Is
about the
Genie
thunder.
planning to destroy this wall?
Genie does not have the. Genie is convinced she currently does not have the capability to destroy this wall.
Is that a yes or is that a no?
That is a no.
Okay, we can move on then. Who's next? Is anybody else doing anything after 10 minutes?
Victor will ask if anybody else wants a rope so they can come over.
Okay.
Does
And you're
anybody
waiting
here
for
wait?
10 minutes. 20
Yes, we'll
minutes.
I mean, I don't think he's coming.
30 minutes. And they
Well, I think
insist
it's
my
pretty-
lord is coming after he eats breakfasts. He
I
said.
think,
Yeah. Listen, I'm waiting. I'm willing to wait an hour until things.
I'll take after 10 minutes after Genie's caster spell. I'll take the rope and say we should all be on the same side of the wall.
Okay. Including Tenny?
It's safer than having her alone outside. Unless you want to leave her with Thorson.
I think we should. My vote as a player is to send Orson off with Tenny to
That's not a
guard
bad
her.
idea.
Orson
They
thinks
can
that's
go
a
back.
really bad idea.
Okay.
Kenny is safer next to me than basically anywhere else in this province, no offense.
Also,
In this
Penny
country.
is very excited to climb this wall.
All
Come on,
right.
Penny.
Off the rope then, Tinny.
Okay, guys, if the little sister's gonna be here, you gotta, not,
Will
just
be
setting
on
fire
our
to things.
best behavior.
Yes, that's a good way of putting it.
So we have Victor and Edmont in front of the wall, and as the rest of you climb up, the two men in arms at the top move back, give you wider and wider berth.
Victor will step away from the wall a little bit.
Let your lord know. I guess we're going to go find lunch, a breakfast, like a brunch. Anyway,
No,
you guys
let's
have
just
a good
wait
morning.
here.
Victor will ask where a good place to get breakfast is.
I don't think this town probably
don't-
has that.
Yeah, they don't have a restaurant or an inn or anything, if that's what you mean.
Eh.
It's a fishing
I
village.
mean, I think he'll show up. I think he's just enjoying making you wait.
Yeah. And so I say we just wait.
I think if we keep waiting, we're going to be waiting here all day.
You're the Duchess. What do you want to do?
Listen. Oh my gosh. Okay, just please. I say we just give him an hour, and if he's not on his way down within that hour, we go.
All right.
And at the end of the hour, it's still fairly early in the morning, maybe 8 o'clock or so. The men-at-arms are still insisting that he'll come. He's going to grant you audience after he eats breakfast. But
Well, then we'll meet him in it. We'll meet him in his audience chamber then. And Edmont starts walking, carrying the spear.
okay, so Edmont starts in.
Not in any kind of threatening manner. Just like point, not even pointing forward. Just to his side.
Tenny calls down after you. How do I get down?
Victor will help her get down.
Okay.
We're all I think we all climbed down.
The men-at-arms have an argument between the three of them about whether or not they should allow you to do this, or whether that would constitute abandoning their posts, but they seem to have no inclination in wanting to actually engage you in a fight.
These three CR1 guards are pretty smart.
These guys aren't even guard. I think the actual guard stat block is better than these jabronis.
CR 110.
Ekon will relay, what he knows of the layout from watching the town, and also point to one of those orb assemblies.
After
Genie.
Ekon points it out, Genie, all of you can see them, pretty much, at least one on every building. Once you see them, they look very out of place, because this is a fishing village. We're talking about little, thatched roof huts and lean-tos and rotted through wooden planks and things. And then each one has this bizarre bronze-colored fitting attached to its roof.
Are they high enough to where they can be grabbed? Are they too high? What?
If you climbed up onto a roof, you could.
Well, so they're on
They're mounted
Are they
on
on,
the corners of roofs and on the edges of windowsills and on weather vanes. And
I could shoot one with an arrow.
No, we're not going to start with that. They're probably dangerous.
Do they have boats? Do they go out onto the
It's
lake
a
in boats
fishing
and fish?
going.
Or do they or do they go have a large lake? I don't see I guess I didn't see a dock or anything. A pier. That's what I was looking for.
there's not a pier as such, but they have boats they can drag out and set off onto the water. But there are groups of men also, just at the mouth of the stream, trawling with nets,
Okay.
pulling up fishing cages and things.
Yeah.
So yes,
Edmont is how sturdy is the spear that I'm carrying now?
it's decent enough. It's a spear.
Okay. All right.
Don't stab somebody with it; it would hurt. So, Edmont,
probably not.
are you leading these people over towards the tower that Ekon?
Yeah. And it's a tower. It's
It's a 3-story stone structure. It's by far the tallest building in the town, which means it's a little taller than the surrounding palisade, but it's also the furthest point in the village from the wall itself. It's this structure here near the lake. And as you're approaching, walking down the stream, you can probably see, it's hard to judge the distance because it's just open water, but the lake is just obscured by this roiling mass of fog and mist out there. And you can see the men out there on the water rowing out for the day's trade. The villagers, for their most part, seem to regard you with bemusement, if anything. But very pointedly, none of them make eye contact or attempt to speak to you. They kind of, at best, they kind of nod politely, then get out of the way.
Yeah, no, Edmont was really looking for the ladder there, and and what's the situation like when Edmont approaches the tower?
You approach the tower, and as you do, one of the wooden windows on the third floor opens up, and a man peers down at you with long, curly, golden locks. And he's dressed in blindingly purple livery. And you can see the sigil that he wears on his tabard as he leans out towards you is that of a silver goblet. Are you here to interrupt my breakfast? I did say I'd be along, did I not?
I was long enough for anyone to tuck in. Edmont calls out, an hour's long enough for anyone to tuck in.
Well, truth be told, I haven't actually started yet.
Edmont throws the spear to the ground and says, presenting the Duchess Evelyn Veritas.
The man looks out over the group of you. Which one? The barefoot little girl?
No.
Give you a step forward.
You?
Me!
You're the one who did for the Squelcher Lord.
Oh, don't get me started on that one.
I have to say, I'm disappointed. Anyway, we've no use for duchesses here. You may be on your way.
From what I can see a number of reasons why you would benefit from duchesses.
How many are you?
I'm the only one right now.
The only one right now, so another one will be along shortly, or there was another one before you?
I think I'm the only one.
This one next to you, who has your face but the badly colored hair, is she a duchess too?
No, she's an engineer.
An engineer? Ah, very well.
I'm sorry, I didn't get your name, sir.
Oh, I haven't given it yet. I'm not
noticed.
feeling hospitable because I haven't had my breakfast, you see.
Well, how about we discuss things over breakfast?
Well, I would have to invite you in to do that, and I'm not going to. I hope you brought your own.
Victor will walk up to the door.
Okay. Yeah, the door to the tower where
It's
Edmond's
probably
standing in
trapped.
front of.
Don't touch it.
Large, sturdy wooden door. You can tell it's very freshly built. This is not a tower that's been standing here for 100 years. It's probably the newest structure in the village.
Is it trapped?
Are you asking or are you investigating?
No, he's investigating.
Roll an investigation check.
Oh, that's a 21, and if a 21's not good, then it's a 28.
21. You don't see any mechanical... It's locked, you can tell. There's no mechanical traps, but you do see arcane sigils. And they're not... He's not hiding them. They're not hidden. They're filigreed into the door itself, inlaid in a variety of metals. Evie, Edmund and Evie, watching the man in the window. He seems to be kind of... He's leaning out on the windowsill with his elbow to make sure that you can see his tabard and his beautiful face. He seems to be regarding Victor's investigation very, very intently.
It's a beautiful door you have here.
Why, thank
You trying
you.
to bait him into hurting himself on that door?
Victor calls out, "It's a beautiful door you have here." And the man responds, That's the first polite thing any of you have said to me all morning. I thank you, sir.
Well, good craftsmanship deserves attention. Victor will step back and ask, "What are you having for breakfast?"
Nothing, apparently.
Well, what did you plan to have?
Are we going to get to the point where you state your business here, your reason for coming?
I'm here investigating my lands. I have not seen this village before. I came to appraise it.
Oh, well, these are not your lands, they are mine, so that clears up any confusion, I should hope.
Well, unfortunately, I am actually the ruler of all of these lands. It's quite legal.
Well, I disagree. And so we are at an impasse, you see.
Well, I mean, you're free to disagree, but you're wrong.
Well, I have a writ from King Aslan himself, granting me dominion of this whole lake and its surrounding environs.
Well, when was that signed?
Oh, I don't know. When was yours signed?
About a year ago?
Oh, a year and a day ago. I've got you beat by just that much.
Well, I think the more recent one is the one that counts.
Well, if you present it, I'm sure I will have a look-see to it. Shall I send a man down?
How about you open your door?
Would you open your door to invaders that came and interrupted your breakfast quite brusquely? I should think
No,
not.
we haven't done that.
Well, yeah, you guys did.
Edmont, you could probably run up there if you want.
Edmund, you could totally run up this wall.
I don't think you... I think that might not be the move.
No, with all of the magic that I'm seeing flexed around here, I'm not doing that.
This guy is...
What's Ekon and Genie doing, kind of holding back?
Genie is talking to Ekon. She's saying, "Do you think I should try and cast like a dispel magic on the door to see if it does anything?" Like we're discussing. I feel like we're discussing ways to get into the tower.
I wouldn't. I would probably wait and see if they like. I'd expect that if I were trapping the door, I would make it react to the verbal incantations of the dispel magic spell.
Now you're thinking.
Evie, I have an idea. Think about what I would do, and then do the opposite.
You got the options are overwhelming.
So he's asked if he should send a man down so he can collect your writ that you've brought.
Oh,
so
I'm not giving him my writ.
Okay. Are you even carrying it?
Probably not.
Well, if he calls down and he asks that if you're not willing to present it for examination, then how can we be sure that you're not just lying?
He has not presented his writ.
He has no need to. This is his land. You're invading him. He calls down and says, You're not unknown to me, Duchess Evelyn, and I have heard tell how House Veritas deals with what they consider intruders. Why, I believe you set the Keltostravi screaming with their tails between their legs like whipped dogs.
A classy way of saying it, but not untrue.
So I would have to be a genuine fool to open my door to you, would I not?
On the counter argument, you would be a genuine fool to refuse us entry.
Well, if I'm a fool either way, I suppose that I would prefer to remain locked behind my door.
Well,
So
thank you for stating the first thing that I agree with all morning.
So, like, before he leaves,
I heard Ekon first.
Yeah.
And how did your lands deal with the Keltostravi before we sent them packing?
Well, he's got a pretty nice wall.
He shrugs. He says, my purview is the lake. The Keltostravi can't swim.
You'd think they could doggy paddle.
That sounded vaguely racist.
Yeah, can anyone be offended by
Edmund's
that?
like...
I think I'd give permission for Edmund to be a little offended by that.
So, like, Genie whispers to Ekon, she says, "I think I could snatch him out of the window. think I should try?
He's a little bigger than a raven.
Let's talk first. I'm still pretty pissed off about that guy in the cage, though.
Yeah, I mean, so what's the story with the guy in the gibbet outside your gate?
I believe I was told he's a chicken thief. Are
Told
you
by
here advocating for a chicken thief?
Well, I don't know the man myself. I don't know what he's guilty of.
Well, he won't be guilty of anything else in another day or so. He serves as a warning to any other would-be chicken thieves. Now, I hope none of you or your group has gone stealing my chickens, he says.
I didn't see any chickens.
I mean, there are chickens in the little village. They're just
No.
a background
sure they
detail.
have.
Victor, do you go steal a chicken?
No. I don't want to, but no.
How come we can't ever meet anyone who's just like normal and sane?
This is Ravenloft.
You did. You met a nice miner lady and her blacksmith friend in the previous village.
Yeah, well, we saw what happened there.
He calls down once again. Very well. How about this? I will tell you my terms. Would you hear them?
Sure.
My name is Zachiel Dantes.
Lord.
You may call me Lord Zachiel, or his Lordship of Dantes, as you befit. From me you shall have neither coin, nor vow, nor vassalage, nor shall you have violence or challenge. Your realm ends at my gate, and my lake ends at your realm. Fair?
Those don't sound like very advantageous terms for anyone.
If they were advantageous, that would imply that one of us is the better than the other. I prefer to think of us as equals, and so a fair agreement that can be acquiesced by both parties would be one that is advantageous to neither.
So that means the man hung up outside your walls is a citizen of Evie's domain, correct?
He strokes his chin for a moment. Ah, you have me there. Yes, you may take my chicken thief.
Victor will glance at the others and say, "Yeah, it's good here. I feel like I'm going to go talk to the people around town."
Yeah,
Yeah,
that guy
go
kind of nods to that.
Go find out what the hell's going on from
Yeah,
somebody
like,
who's
I-
completely
like-
full of himself.
I don't feel like we're going to have any more productive conversation. Evie says, I will return to discuss my terms. You enjoy your breakfast, sir.
He bows his head low and then closes his window from the inside.
All right. So after he's gone, like, I am not particularly interested in sharing land with a man like that. How about you?
I'm going to go
All
find
right.
out what locals think.
Agreed.
I mean, I think he has sound. It sounds like he has as much of a claim to the lake as we have to the rest of the kingdom, but to the rest of the duchy. However,
He is an unjust ruler.
yes.
But is he
Also, more practically, if his kingdom ends at his walls, he has what? And Ekon kind of looks around. Some chickens, some fish, some boats. They don't have any wood. They don't have any coal. They don't have any stone.
Somebody who's
Like, they would
not
have
Ekon, give me a nature check.
They would have to do a pretty significant amount of trade to actually sustain a village just off the water.
I've got a +1. Does anyone else have anything else?
I don't have nature.
Orson's got nature.
I think Orson's got a +3 on that.
Okay.
Is nature wisdom?
I believe so, yes.
I think it's knowledge skill.
That is a 20.
Intelligence.
Oh, is it
Oh, is it?
intelligence? Yeah, it is a knowledge skill. What am I thinking?
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, 19.
Okay. Ekon lists off kind of the resources that he thinks the villages might be lacking. And Orson says, that's a good point, but there's quite a lot of bounty to be had in a lake, especially of this size. And it's a saltwater lake, which is strange.
It's the
Oh,
stream
this
salt
mist,
water?
this mist is also very strange.
I
I'm
think
very suspicious.
all of that aside, you're talking about leaving a ruler that puts chicken thieves and giblets. Is that?
I'm not talking about doing that. We're going to investigate and see what we find, and then we're going to reconvene.
I mean, Ekon's going to walk over to the stream because we're not that far from it. Just take a handful of water. Is it salty or is it fresh?
It's a freshwater stream, but it's flowing out into a saltwater lake.
Yep.
Now, this mist that's rolling across the lake, does this look like normal mist, or does it look like your Ravenloft mist?
You cannot tell the difference.
Okay.
That's the danger of the mist. You can never tell one from the other.
Well, Evie has been conditioned to think mist is suspicious, so I think he's
Give
using
me a history
some...
check, Evie.
Sure. What is my history? I'm trained in it. History's plus... 12?
12. If it's the capital M mists, there's no telling where the other bank of this lake could be.
This lake could come out anywhere.
Could have out into an ocean elsewhere on the other side of the mist.
So you guys are going to kind of get take the temperature of the town, kind of speak to some of the townsfolk.
Yeah, I kind of suspect he has some kind of scheme going with the lake that is not immediately apparent.
So here's the story. A mile or two out into the lake, accessible by boat, but currently too deep into the mists to see, there's a small stony island with basically nothing on it. It's just big enough for maybe a dozen people or so to cling to for a couple of days at best. This small village has been subsiding here for years. The Celtistravi were their main threat. When the Celtistravi would come and attack, once in a while it would happen. They would try to get a heads up from travelers or from people out in the wilderness, and they would kind of retreat out onto the lake to this just stony little island and return and find the village ransacked, picked clean. And this happened many times, usually in spring, until Zachiel Dantes showed up. Told the people he would erect a wall to keep out the werewolves and all other dark things, provided they call him Lord, grant him dominion over the village and over the lake. To which all the fishermen obviously agree. They didn't have anything to lose.
So he was completely bullshitting when he said Aslan granted him rulership over this lake.
No,
Not necessarily.
He presented the same sort of writ that you had. That's the story.
Okay. Well, he is a magic user.
Aslan was sent him here to set this place to rights, and he has erected a wall, magicked it, and shortly after the wall was constructed, they started getting reports that the Celtistravi had been driven from the lands. So this is a very recent development.
He hasn't been here that long.
No, not quite as long as you guys. Maybe around the same time. And the story is very similar to your own, as far as any of these townfolk know. None of them seem to hate the guy. They've been getting along with their lives. What about the chicken thief?
Yeah.
His name is McDohl.
Mm-hmm.
And he's an old drunkard in the town. He's a layabout. He's no good to anybody. And thief is probably a harsh word, but Zachiel has very little use for layabouts in his village. And the general consensus is that even though he technically hasn't committed any crimes, he wanted to make an example of him. Get this useless mouth outside of his wall.
So how do the town people generally feel about the crime and punishment in the city?
You're not going to find a lot of people who are in love with McDohl, if that's your question. As far as a lot of these people are concerned, he was just a useless...
Not just that, but is he the first one this has happened to? Have there been others that have been punished this harshly?
I mean, the village really isn't large enough to have a major judicial system. When there are disputes, Zachiel, in his capacity as Lord, will just hand down an edict, just like Evie would do in your own village. And a lot of times it wouldn't even have to be him. Like, Evie doesn't personally see to every dispute in the village. She's got to read for that. She's got a sheriff.
Are people punished more severely than they should be, judging by our standards?
Not as far as you can see. I mean, the gibbet thing is pretty extreme, but McDohl's been a thorn in the village's side for many years. And it's certainly not more extreme than building a gallows, which has happened twice now, as Victor is wont to point out. Nobody's been hanged or burned at the stake, as far as you know.
So he seems annoying, but I don't necessarily think he's a danger of us.
Yeah,
Mm,
I tend to agree.
I mean, it seems like he wants to leave well enough alone, but I get real suspicious of people.
Well, here's the thing: he can't leave well enough alone. There isn't enough on the lake for everything he needs, right? He has to trade with us.
Well, he may be getting trade from someone on the other side of this lake. We don't know where it comes out.
We can ask. I mean, we can ask them.
It's really the
Who else would be shipping it? Like
The Sami ships?
Yeah, like
The
do other
barges?
from other lands ever show up here? That's an easy question.
But at the end of the day, the people that live here seem to like him.
So Ekon's question was,
Do they have trade with other areas across the lake?
to that end, there's an old man in town, an old fisherman, a real salt of a guy, name of Hugo. Hugo's half blind and prone to rambling, which is a problem because he doesn't speak very good Darkanese. He washed up in the village years ago. And he insists he was lost at sea on a ocean-going voyage. How he washed up at the side of this lake, he has no idea. But the villagers have kind of taken him in.
Partway into the story, I'll tell him it's easier in your native tongue. Just go ahead and I'll cast tongues.
So you're going to hunt down Hugo and have a conversation with him?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I thought I was already talking.
Yeah, once you learn about the guy, and probably about midday in your investigation, sitting down across from him, you can tell he's definitely not from here. Much darker complexion, and his head is just a shock of silver white hair. And yeah, he regales you with stories of his time at sea. He was a deckhand on this vessel or that vessel. And he's speaking of ocean-going trade vessels, the kind that would cross the ocean. Like the Republic would have a fleet to trade with faraway lands where you come from, faraway countries. And his ship was struck by a mild storm that had more fog than rain or wind. Nonetheless, it scuttled the ship, and he was the only survivor. And then they told him he was in Darkon.
And then since you've been here, have you seen any other trade like that across the lake, or?
He tells you that queer things would show up from time to time. Objects would brought in by the tides, by the currents, that don't look like anything from the area. Ever since Zakiel came and built his tower, though, he has laid claim to all of these objects. He's the only living person, though, as far as anybody knows.
And I'll describe some emblems of the Republic and things like that, like things I would expect to see on, say, a crashed Republic ship that had wandered through the mist, and ask if he had seen anything along those lines.
He definitely hasn't seen anything. I mean, he's not from the Republic, if that's what you're asking.
Right.
But
but I'm trying to figure out if anything else from our world had been washed up in the same mist we were and got smashed against the shores here.
Not to his knowledge, but the language that he uses, there's a lot of commonality between seagoing merchants from where you're from and the life that this man led.
Okay.
What's the name of the country he's from?
He just gives you the name of the country he's from, and it's not important
Okay.
and will never come up again.
Right.
What's the name of the religion of the country he's from?
Same answer.
Okay. I'm satisfied.
Hugo has absolutely no issue with Mikhail being thrown into a gibbet.
A land of does not appear in this adventure.
Right. So midday comes and goes. And the villagers open up when you talk to them, but they do prefer to give you a wide berth if they can.
Zakil seems like a bit of a prick, but he doesn't seem like he's mistreating these people. I am a little curious about what kinds of stuff he's been finding from the lake, though.
I guess Genie, do you want to ask him about like the thingies on the houses?
Yeah.
Why don't you go play polite, apologize for Evie, and see if you can have lunch with the guy. Find out what you need.
Before that,
Okay, I just need to point out I was not the person who burned down the gate or beat up the guards.
Evie was only the 4th or 5th person to do something awful.
what do the villagers say that the brass fittings do?
They're told, Zaquiel's explanation is that they're there to guard the village against prying eyes, especially ravens.
Oh,
I have some questions about that.
Evie, you're rude. Genie,
What?
you seem to be the sanest one here.
Like I could
Genie?
Genie's going to approach the tower and politely knock on the door.
At what time of day? 'Cause
I don't know,
We
like,
passed midday at this point.
Yes, shortly after lunch.
Nobody comes to the front door, but after a minute or two, and it really is literally a minute or two, like you're waiting there for a good 200 seconds. The top window opens again, and you see Zaquiel lean out again, flopping his gorgeous blonde locks, curling out, peering down at you with a bored expression on his face. Have you come to a decision? Is it to be war?
Jeannie looks around. She says, "I'm just here by myself. I wanted to ask you some, just wanted to ask you a couple of questions, unrelated to the whole, And then
He
Dutchy.
sighs in a way that tells you that he really doesn't want to be answering any of your questions.
So, are you from Darkon originally?
Perhaps.
So, theoretically, if we found a way potentially to get out of Darkon, would you be interested in that?
I find speaking of theory to be very droll. Is it too much to ask that people speak plainly? What is your proposal?
Well, I mean, these are the topics that I can't go into unless, certain information is gathered from you first. I apologize. On that note.
He does seem to appreciate the apology. He likes being apologized to.
So, we're not originally from Darkon, and I don't want to be in Darkon anymore.
Fare thee well!
And I'm wondering if you might have some information that would lead to us being able to go home.
He opens his mouth just for half a moment, like he's about to say some more flippant nonsense. Then instead, he says, "What would that information be worth to you?"
To me? If it pans out, a lot.